Welcome. Welcome. It's your boy Markin. You know what it is. Trinity Boy Extraordinaire is in the building. And guys, of course, I have to apologize. My internet connection at the hotel was not that great. I apologize. So I wasn't able to do the stream last night to do the watch along, the final game of the group stage for Trinidad and Tobago. But guys, you know, decent performance. I had to watch the game again. So this is why I'm live now doing my match reaction. So I had to sit down and watch the game again so I could have got the full grasp of the game. And I see some reports. There's been a post-match press conference. We draw the game 2-all. There's been reports on CONCACAF that we've drawn the game 2-all. But on all major news sources, Trinidad has won that game 2-1. So what I would say to you guys, 9 points, third place. Not a bad finish. A lot of youngsters in the team. Wayne Frederick II, I would say one of the top performers. Finally, a goal coming from the likes of Nathaniel James. I thought it was a very good performance from him. And I have to say to you guys, it's one of those situations where, you know, Trinidad has a bright future. And of course, we looked at the Jamaica game as well. And I would say to you guys, the Jamaica game, poor performance, poor output from the Jamaica team. But it's about Trinidad right now, guys. Shout out to Kingsley in the building. Shout out my brother. I know you was there for the watch along, bro. I was up and it was 3 in the morning my time, but I couldn't watch the game because the internet was just dropping every 5-10 minutes. Shout out to Kenny Fan TV in the building. I see a lot of people took very big interest into the Jamaica game as well. Of course, the Trinidadian fans was all there supporting. The weather wasn't great. There's some rain yesterday, but the Trinidad team performed really well. And I have to say that we had a scare. They almost took the lead 2-1, but offside goal again. And then the Trinidadian team coming right back to score, taking the lead 2-1 and had some chances, but unable to finish. Coach Dwight York said in his post-match press conference that the results were not the best for Trinidad and Tobago. The performances were there, but if you don't score goals, you can't win games. And then he reiterated by saying that this was a dress rehearsal for 2030. Now, when he said that, I know a lot of people would say, maybe Dwight York could have done a lot better to get Trinidad into the World Cup qualifications. Yeah, we have a better team. We performed better than Curacao, but the luck was not with us this year. And sometimes that's just how it goes. I think a lot of people would say that Curacao was a very good team. But if you look at the game against Jamaica and you look at the 2 games against Trinidad, Curacao is not really a good team. Of course, they have players playing in the Eredivisie. Of course, they have players that have a certain standard or level of performance, but they're awful. The Curacao team are awful to look at. At the same time, they played a defensive game. They sat back the entire game and played on the counter, much like Jamaica did when they came to Trinidad and Tobago in the last game on Friday night last week. But guys, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you think Trinidad has shown that we can build upon what we have established in the last 9 months with this new team, with Dwight York as coach, and take ourselves to the Olympics under 23? I think most of the squad that played last night can qualify and participate in the Olympics. There's a lot of young players in the Trinidad team, and we have seen that they are taking well to the direction of Coach York, the style of Trinidad, what they expect to do and what is expected of them. And I would say to you guys, it's something that we need to look at. And it's something that we need to, praise. I mean, we didn't qualify. I know the disappointment is there for a lot of fans, but at the same time, we know when we prepared. And sometimes when you don't prepare in advance, you're prepared to fail at some point, or it's always a possibility of failing. And of course, as Renel Joseph is saying, TTFA need to do the right thing and stick with York. And on this topic, guys, there's a lot of reports coming that the Jamaican Federation are very, very interested in Dwight York. They're very impressed with what he has done with Trinidad and Tobago. And not only the Jamaican FA, but a lot of Jamaicans in and about. And this breaking news right here, Kenny Fan TV, thank you so much, bro, because I wanted to talk about this as well. This is a scary time for us Trinidadians, guys. And when I say this is a scary time, I mean it. Because when you look at this, guys, and you think about it, there's quite the possibility that they could be coming after Dwight York. the rumors are there. The home fans of Jamaica, they love what York has done with Trinidad. They would love to see York at the helm of the Jamaican football team. We cannot allow this, guys. And I reiterate to you, we cannot allow this. A lot of people, they laughed at me when I said Dwight York, and yes, he's my legend from Man United, and that's why I'm behind him 100%. But we see the job that he did. You know what I mean? This is the thing, right? The TTFA a large period of time, they have not been the best. They have not done a good job, and of course, we there's lots of reasons for that. Of course, we will blame them specifically because they are the ones responsible. But did they have the proper finances? Did they have the proper aid, the proper systems in place before when they to have these things running on a situation where it's progressive, continuous, autonomous, basically? No, they have not. And that makes things even more frustrating, guys. When I say this is because when you look at the TTFA performance over the last 20 years, it's not been the best. And when we look at other situations, we criticize, and as we should. When you look at the new TTFA, they've been there for what? I would say about 18 months, give or take. I'm not fully aware on when the president had came into place. I think it's over a year and a half now. And I would say to you guys that they're not doing the best job, but that's not just because they're not good enough. You know what I mean? Because if we look at the situations leading up, for 10 years, there has not been much investment or development in youth affairs and culture and sports in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, that has largely to do with the previous government. We know this, guys. You know what I mean? And a lot of people will say, well, the TTFA needs to do better. They need to find other sources of funding. But how many Trinidadians actually go to games? Are we going to fill all these Pro League games out week in, week out? I don't know, guys. I don't know about that one. Nick in the building is saying the entire TTFA must go. I don't care what you say. They failed to deliver. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, bro. I mean, I'm not gonna say you're not right. It's one of those things when people fail to deliver, they should be held extremely accountable for these things. But at the same time, I would say to you guys, consider that what they have achieved in the last few months, yes, they have not delivered, but we all know we have faced sanctions for almost a decade from FIFA. There has not been really an organized situation going on consistently for the last 4 or 5 years in Trinidad and Tobago football. And of course, I would say the new changes that have been made are for the better. Because when you look at some of the players who were playing for the last 3 years before, I would say a lot of them should not have been considered because we've seen them perform and we've seen them not do their best, and we know they're not professional. Guys like Jovan Jones and these guys, they find it more important to go to FET match and play games while they're supposed to be, in camp. And that's not me trying to criticize them particularly per se, but I have to let you guys know that a lot of these youngsters in our national team right now, they have not played many games. They're not experienced on the international level. Some of them have 4 caps, 3 caps, 2 caps, 7. You know what I mean? The most experienced players, some of them may not be at their best. Of course, you could be disappointed in the fact that Kevin Molino has not been given much more chances and did not start the game versus Jamaica. I think I was mostly disappointed that he didn't start. But at the same time, sometimes that's how it goes. Of course, let's hear what Renee is saying again. My issues with the TTFA, they be so late in doing things. Hire York late. From now, they need to stick with him and have a 5 to 10 years of planning. And this is the message that I'm trying to get across to everyone right now. We can criticize, we can say all these things, but what are we going to do? Where are the solutions? And this is where Trinidad needs to change, guys, because we can't keep just criticizing something, shutting it down, and then saying, let's start from scratch all over again. Now, I would say that they have not done the best job, but the job they're doing is much better than we had the last 10 years, and that's a fact. If you look at the team's performance and you look at the team, You can actually watch them right now. You know what I mean, guys? And I'm pretty sure each and every one of you will agree with me. When you look at Trinidad and Tobago right now, you can watch them play. They're more interesting to watch than the reggae boys. You know what I'm saying? And this is where you can say, well, maybe they did not start early enough. Maybe they didn't prepare well enough. But maybe if you give them some more time, it will improve. And the only reason I can say that is because we've looked at the performances since Dwight York has taken over, and we can see that Dwight York is doing an amazing job. Players are reacting with him. We have now opened the doors to foreign-based players to come in, and of course the foreign nationals with the grandfather law. And I think that puts Trinidad in an amazing position. And of course, a lot of people will be saying 2030, Mexico come back, Canada does, USA as well. This Trinidad team can take these teams on, guys. Come on. When we played against Canada, we played against the USA, we managed to get results against these teams with a worst performing Trinidad team in the last 18 months. So now I would say we were largely unlucky. Rennie, clap you. I have to clap you. You know what I mean? We played the best football in this group, but we were unlucky. And I think a lot of Trinidadians will not take solace in this. I think they will be upset. I think they will be frustrated. And of course, we will see the anger. And it might be directed at the TTFA. But at the same time, remember, the TTFA, the guys who are there, they are the ones responsible for hiring Dwight York. And I say this to you because last year, Dwight York was applying for the Jamaica job. So before this current TTFA president was there, Dwight York was probably going to go to Jamaica. He probably might have been coaching Jamaica right now. And a lot of people don't know this. So now that we have the TTFA, maybe these guys are the one who saw the vision and believed in Dwight York, and they brought him here. And you have to give them some credit for that. Of course, there are other problems, there are the issues, the youth teams, the women's team, these things all need to be addressed. But yeah, guys, we can't blame them for some of the issues in the women's team because they hired a manager and he resigned 20 days later. This certainly has things to do with the selectors of the women's team players and some of the players themselves, probably. We cannot say no. But we have a new coach for the women's team, and he's an interim manager. Let's see where he takes them. His first game against Jamaica was a battering. It was not the best performance, but of course, new system, new style. It will take some time to adjust. Let's see how it goes. So we shift our focus, guys. The dream for the World Cup does not stop here. It must continue, and we must push. And I would make this sidebar as my brethren Hurkut comes in. Jamaica will have a better coach. Bailey and Antonio will be back. They will make the World Cup. They played all these matches without a coach. A coach set them up. They will beat Bolivia. And Hurkut, I am going to vehemently disagree with you, bro. I've watched the Jamaican team and I've listened to a lot of the Jamaican fans. And I would say one of the biggest striking differences and similarities with myself and Manchester United, I would say, is that we don't like the coach. I don't rate Ruben Amorim, who's a manager coach for Man United. And you guys don't rate McLaren. And I think this falls all the way down to the players, and the players start thinking to themselves, maybe we should do what we want and not listen to this guy. He's a drunkard. He doesn't know what he's doing. And you can see that in your performances. And when I say that to my Jamaican friends, they laugh at me. They say, you don't know what you're talking about. The team is so talented, they should beat anyone. Brother, did you see Trinidad play against Curacao? You guys never looked like you were in control of any of the games against Curacao. And of course, you had lots of chances because you're a naturally better team than Curacao. But bro, if the players listen to your manager more and your fans kind of supported him a little bit more, I think there might be a better situation, but he's resigned now. So let's hope that you guys get a better coach and let's hope it's not Dwight York, to be fair. How can I get in the TTFA board? I can do a way better job than those clowns there now. You're going to have to apply. I wish I could be in the board as well. I think I would make better decisions on most of them as well myself. But at the same time, guys, you know what I mean? Let's see how it goes. See, I've been saying this for years. Same, there's a lot of past, no structure regarding any of the TTT&T teams. That is why they don't qualify for anything. Well, that is 100% fact, bro. And this stems not only from past and previous selections and regimes in the TTFA, but this stems from the fact that our system of football from grassroots level all the way up to the Pro League is not set up well. The organization is not well organized, guys. And on top of that, there are a lot of favoritisms. And of course, I think Dwight York was trying to change the favoritism situation going forward with Trinidad football, with the way he was selecting players, dropping players. You know, it's a basically new team. And that's a new team from less than a year before, for what we were seeing start in the starting 11. And I think this is the way forward, guys. Not only, I think we also have to make an effort, yeah, to do these things, to make some changes to the systems all the way from grassroots, under 10, under 14, second 11, SSFL, going all the way up to our amateur, semi-pro sort of pro league. That is, it's regressed. And all these facets, I can't say it's directly linked to the TTFA alone. A lot of these things would depend on support, infrastructure, as well as investment from private members of society as well as the government. And let's keep it real, guys. We are not the USA. We are not England. We are not France. We are not those countries that have tens of millions of fans who will go to games weekly and, of course, bring in a lot of money to all the different teams. We are a small nation state, and small nation states have this issue when it comes to filling stadiums weekly and all these sorts of things. And to say that, we expect to earn more or earn at the level of clubs in Europe is kind of ridiculous, guys. So we need to have a different system. We need to think of this more on a Caribbean level. Maybe this is the time where all the Caribbean islands come together and say, you know what? Let's do this together. Let's raise our level of football and sports together as a Caribbean. And I think that's the way forward. Of course, I have some ideas on this. I will be doing a presentation really soon to you guys about, what can be done and how we can maybe improve this, leaning on in the Caribbean. And of course, the Pro League is not going to change, but there will be additional things that will make it a little bit better. Shout out to Mark Gabriel in the building. Shout out to Yankee. Life goes on, reggae boys, but unfortunately, the energy between you lot and the manager must be studied and respectfully, or else your futuristic significance will be limited respectfully. 100%, broski. 100%. 100%. The TTFA needs to start now. Next year can't wait for late changes. And Rennie, I agree with you on that. And this is why I'm telling everyone and I'm asking everyone, to say these things, to keep this and voice, be vocal everywhere on your socials, talk about it. Say, because this is the only way we can go forward. They listen. Yeah, they might not always show it, but they do. And I think the TTFA listens very much to what the fans of Trinidad and Tobago has to say. But the fans need to have one voice. Yeah, we can't have people saying, fire Dwight York, he should have done a better job. And then some people saying, let's move forward with Dwight. I think that's where we have to come on a unanimous level and say these things. Shout out to you, Mark. Top of the morning to everyone and in the chat as well. Big up to you guys coming in. And of course, guys, it's a discussion here. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What do you think we can do to improve? Because that's the most important thing. And when I look at some of the systems in Trinidad and Tobago, of course, being a Trini myself, I lived there all my life until I started working abroad recently. So I would say to you guys, change must come, but it must start with each and every one of us. Yeah, we can't just say we can do a better job than they are if we are not effecting change ourselves, because we are not a major nation. So every little one counts. Every idea is important. Everything can help. And this is why I keep saying this. Many years ago, I've been asking the question, how come we haven't had a TT football academy? Imagine we had a multi-purpose sports complex in one area to improve sports overall. There again, I say to you, what has the government done with that multi-sports purpose complex? I've seen it 2 years ago, and it wasn't looking fully maintained. You know what I mean? And I keep saying this to you guys. How do we move forward when one government comes and says our athletes are not elite enough to receive support, but then there's another government that has a much shorter time span when they come in, but they give full support to all the youths and all our sporting faculties. And then when they leave, we have 10 years of no support. It must change, guys. I don't like to talk politics. It's not my favorite thing. I like to keep it strictly football. And when it comes to the Caribbean, there's going to be a lot of, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of politics in with sports because someone always wants to say, I did this. And this is the problem. When you have people who's supposed to do their job, but when in doing their job, they want to say, I'm the man, or I'm the lady, or I'm the one who did this. Yeah, it's not exactly pushing the nation forward, is it? Because it's all about hyping up your importance in the situation. So now we have to move away from these things. Everyone needs to contribute because no one person has the right answer. You know what I mean? And being the multifaceted level of issues that Trinidad and Tobago and other Caribbean islands have when it comes to sporting, we need to work together to fix it. 19 years of football wilderness and another 5 years to go with USA, Mexico, and Canada come back. I don't think TT has a chance like they just did. Well, I would like to make an argument for that, bro. And the reason why I say that, Nick, is because look at this team. This team has beaten Canada and USA in the last 18 months. We have. But they weren't coached by Dwight York when they did. Or he was newly the coach, if I could remember well. I believe it was under Angus Eve. But at the same time, I say to you, with the improvements that we have made as a team in the last few months, everyone was watching. It's clear to see. Don't you think we can go against America? Don't you think that in 3 years' time, we can defeat Canada? I mean, really and truly, Mexico and the USA are the teams that usually are supremely difficult for us. But Canada, we used to get the best of these guys more than not. And yeah, maybe building a new multi-purpose sports complex might be interesting, but I think we need to start to specialize, Rennie. You know, let's build us as international track and athletics, academy, and let's build a footballing academy. Because while building a multi-purpose sports complex is cool, it really doesn't. It's divided into energy to supporting this, that, and the other. Maybe we should separate that. Build a track and field academy. Build a football academy. You know, for the other facets of sports, get an academy for that. I mean, and if we can't do it ourselves, I'm sure we can apply to some of these European giants to come in. The market is open, guys. And when I say the market is open, Dortmund is already here. It's just a matter of getting the others interested. And if we can get these guys entrenched into our grassroots, into the district football leagues, into the pro league, into the school league with their different academy level teams, it will take the levels up. And this will happen fast, guys. Because remember, Dortmund Academy is training with the standards, the metrics, the numbers, and the statistics of a team that competes at the very highest level in Europe. So if you instill their academy teams into all levels of Trinidad football, the other teams are going to be playing against the data, the statistics, the standards of what it needs to be to compete at a European level. Thereby, they will all have to come up, guys. It's not just talent alone anymore. It's going to be talent, hard work, and of course, we have to get to nutrition. And this is going to be the tricky part. A lot of nationals, like myself, we love to eat sugar. I mean, we used to manufacture sugar cane. Sugar cane is the thing. Everybody likes sweet things. But, if you want to be at the very best and a top athlete, you're going to have to change. Fundamentally, guys, we're going to have to change. You know what I mean? And this is going to come down to nutrition, the way we exercise, the way they train, everything. Structure is needed. And we must highlight this. Structure is needed. It's needed, it's needed, it's needed, guys. And of course, with the recent performances, I would say it gives a light, or it gives us a motivation that if we can implement structure, we will see drastic improvement. And I'm looking forward to that, guys. I'm looking forward to this, and I'm hoping, and I will be streaming every single week, twice or three times, maybe four times sometimes, about Trinidad and Tobago football. And from next week, the discussions are going to be, what can we do to make things better? How can we change? How can we improve? And these are where my discussions are going to go. And I hope you guys are going to be here to join me. Of course, the current structure is a little bit visionless. We will all agree on that. But I would say to you guys, it's a little bit hard pressed to solely blame the TTFA when they need support. They need to, they work on, they are subsidized. So maybe they need more support, or actual support. You know what I mean? You need to have all the relevant laws, or all the relevant things in place so that they can operate at the best of their ability. Now, they haven't done so for the last 20 years because after making the World Cup in 2006, we have failed miserably. We have regressed for 10 years. We were ranked as high as 33rd. Now, maybe somewhere in the 70s or 80s, after this break is over and the points are tallied, maybe we rank somewhere higher. But for now, we're around 111th, guys. So that's 70 something places, or 80 plus places lower than we were averaging 20 years ago. Doesn't mean we're not producing talent. It just means we're not using the talent wisely. We're not doing our best to support it. And this can be seen when you have a government for 10 years telling people, we're not sure if you're elite or not. I think we was 111 before the last game. I think so, Nick. I think we was 111 before the last game. I'm not sure if the points have been tallied and there was changes over the last couple of games. So I just stick in with the 111 because I know before this window, that's where we were ranked. Of course, with the results, we should be ranked very much higher. And I'm hoping for that as well. If we can break somewhere around 90, I think that gives us a better situation going forward. Of course, there's nation leagues to be played. There's the Caribbean Cup. There's under 23 football. There's under 23 Olympic qualification. So lots of things to improve the point ranking system. You know what I mean? The only thing I watch in football right now is Erling Haaland, the striking Viking. That guy is an AI generated bot. Broski. Well, he is a phenom. Certainly, I cannot say that. And Hurkut is saying, I believe if Trinidad and Tobago went to the playoff, they would have qualified. Iraq, Suriname, and Bolivia, North Macedonia, they could beat them. Well, Hurkut, I also thought that myself. When I saw four of the teams that qualified, I told myself, if we get that 6 points, we're getting to the World Cup. You know what I mean? But again, Jamaica, I think Jamaica comes up a level when they face Trinidad. That rivalry, it's a vintage situation there. The biggest rivalry in Caribbean football. I mean, Curacao did do well, and yes, they qualified for the World Cup, but who thinks of Curacao as a rival? They just came to the party. They've not been, a long time competitor in football in the Caribbean. So it's not something to say. And I think Jamaica really came up levels to play against Trinidad because I think Trinidad deserved to win that game. You know, they played very well. They were intense. And of course, we have not seen a Trinidad like that in a long time. You know what I mean? Shout out to DJ Madness in the building. Broski, how are you doing? Somebody was just talking about Erling Haaland. Let's talk about Royal Mitchell. You know, that youngster looks very promising. He may not be 6'6" like Erling Haaland, but this brother is 6'3", I believe. He's quick, strong, young, and he's prolific, I tell you. You know what I mean? I know he was rested in the last game that we played last night because of the injury that he picked up against Jamaica. And good for that. I was expecting him to be kept off of the pitch because I want him to be rested well. I want him to be prepared. Maybe Dwight York and the rest of coaches will take a special interest into this youngster. And of course, Trinidadians too. We need to look at these guys. We need to support these guys in what they're doing. I'm not a fan of the MLS, but I've started watching our Trinidad boys in the MLS because they are boys. You know what I mean? I don't like the MLS. I'll tell you straight up. I think it's a league that needs a lot of changing, but I see that they're switching their system to the European system. They're adding, you know, jeopardy. You can get, you can get relegated and get promoted now. That makes things very interesting. Maybe the MLS gets twice as competitive. So, and that is very good because we got a lot of talent there right now, and they're in some good teams, which means that they should be going up levels in the coming months, and hopefully it will be one of those things. Nick is right. Jamaica will be one of the seeded teams along with DR Congo if Jamaica will qualify. I expect them to do so. I've watched some of those teams. I think Jamaica can beat Iraq. I think they can beat Macedonia as well. I definitely think they can beat Congo. I think Congo is a decent team, but yeah, I don't think they're going to beat the Jamaicans, guys. You know what I mean? Stern John played for Columbus Crew as well, yes, but before that he played for Coventry, and he played for Nottingham Forest. He won FA Cup. He won tournaments in England. So it's one of those things. You have these guys, the guys from the era of Dwight York and Russell Atherby. I think they had everything that represented what a Trini playing sports had: determination, intelligence for the game, and the quality to play their positions. Of course, these youngsters that we have are very talented. They lack a little bit of the mentality right now, but they're learning. And it's new. When you play international football, it's a different ball game from club football. It's more of a, yeah, you know what I mean? Less of the referee helping you. Of course not, unless you're Curacao, because I mean, they got away from red cards, penalties in consistent games. Against Jamaica, the opening game, they got away from a red card and a penalty, as well against Trinidad. In both games, they got away from a red card. Their players should have been sent off. Curacao should have not finished either game with Trinidad with more than 10 men. And that's a fact. And I know we can sit here and say otherwise, but the American official will make sure and change things. Because, I mean, people might not like that I said that, but that guy, in every game that he's refed with Curacao, he's always overturned VAR calls in Curaçao's favor. So I'd leave that right there. And I mean, people might say I don't like the guy, but his actions don't seem to be anything more than a little bit corrupt, in my honest opinion. As a Jamaican, why Trinidad never take the game seriously against Bermuda and get next best second place? But what do you mean better? Trinidad and Tobago beat Bermuda twice. We've scored 5 goals against Bermuda. We won 3-0, we won 2-1. I think the problem is Trinidad and Tobago was supposed to beat Curacao in the game at home and beat Jamaica at home, or at least get a draw in the opening game against Jamaica away in the office. I think that game was where we actually really bit it, in my honest opinion. Losing there was our biggest problem. I think if we drew, I think we'd be the team going through right now. And that's just my honest opinion. You know what I mean? I'm a Jamaican, bro, but I rate you. I can see you want us on Trinidad to be. Bro, listen, I'll be honest with you guys. I want to see the Caribbean teams play in the World Cup. You know, we got more spots open to us now than ever before. Twice as many, 6 guaranteed spots. When has this ever happened? That's 6 teams that can qualify out of CONCACAF, and then we got 2 spots in the playoffs. That's 8. And then there's some other extra playoff team with a possibility. I think it's somewhere around 8 or 9 spots that we got. Somewhere around there. You know what I mean, guys? And I think, no, we wouldn't. We are on 11 points, Beta. We are on 9 points, broski. Jamaica is on 11. Curacao is on 12. There was no way we were getting into the playoffs, guys. Unless you're thinking in terms of we had more points than other teams around, but as a third place team, I think we have the most points. I think the highest points of any other team. I think all the other teams who finished second in the other 2 groups, I think they finished second. I think one team had 7 points, another one had 8. We are 9 points, bro. Bro, I'm gonna hold them accountable, but I'm also gonna hold my players accountable as well. And hook up. No offense, bro, but I think your YouTube content creators need to start holding some of your players responsible for the results. Because I hear a lot of the guys talk about Bowser, and Bowser shot himself last night, bro. You know what I mean? I think also if you hire a coach, you gotta let them dictate, bro. You can't have a guy selecting for them. They should have their own way that they select players. And maybe that will change. Maybe it will change with the resignation of McLaren. Hopefully, it's going to change because I was very disappointed with Jamaica. I don't know how they lost to Curacao, and I don't know how they didn't beat Curacao last night. And I wish that they did. Because if they had beat Curacao, Trinidad would be the team qualifying today. So, yeah, I'm a little bit upset with you guys. Your performances let me down. But yeah, Trinidad performances also let me down in some way because I think lacking a clinical finisher is our biggest problem. Shout out to Levi. He did his best, and he's a very interesting player. I think he's better off the right. Those spots are subject to change regarding performance. So if teams in the CONCACAF region do badly in the World Cup next year, at least one spot could be removed. Interesting. I didn't check all that, but I will do some more information on that, bro. You know what I mean? Big up. Thank you for that. 3/4 of Jamaica team need to go better. I would say so in a sense, but I still also think that maybe it may just be that they need to fight more. You know, need to work a little bit harder. You know what I mean? Stop listening to people outside and listen to their coach. Yeah, Rennie. The only way they could get York is if we don't find a way to secure him. And if they get York, I'll blame it on the TTFA. And they don't want that heat from me, Renee. Trust me, they don't want that heat because I'm gonna be coming at them like white on rice. It's gonna be glue. They will can't do without me because every stream I'll tag them in it. You know what I mean? I said it will be a draw because of their coach is trash and the style of play ain't good to watch. Jamaica had it easy and messed it up. And the only disagreement I would say is not because of their coach. I think it's because of the attitude of the players. Yeah. I told everyone that McLaren resigned last night. And this is where I'm a little bit nervous because I know Dwight York is on their list. I know Dwight York is appreciated by the Jamaican fans. And he has shown that he can take a team and improve them in a short space of time drastically. And as a coach in the international game, that's where the money is. So I say to you guys, we will blame the TTFA. Of course, they have to accept some blame because they took along. But also, we have to blame the previous government as well because they set us up to fail. For the last decade, they've done nothing to improve sports, youth affairs, or invest in any development on any of those things. So when we blame the TTFA, remember, we have to also blame those responsible who's supposed to facilitate them as well. because we are not a first world nation. You had chances, Hillcut, but let's be honest, bro. Your game against Trinidad was your best game in the group. Both games. That was the best football you played in this entire competition so far. And I tell you this not because I'm a Trinidadian, but because I watch your team just like I watch mine. I watch every game. And if you played the way you played against Trinidad and against Curacao, you would have beaten them going and coming. Trust me on that. Yeah. So I say to you, bro, look at some of your players in that team, especially Johan Blake. Is that his name? I hope I'm not mistaking him for the track athlete because he's Blake as well. But the goalkeeper, the captain, I think you guys need to get rid of that guy. That guy is leading a mutiny against your coach during the entire tournament. Jamaicans were celebrating last week on Saturday, or Saturday past, when he went up against the coach. He was trying to call out the coach. You cannot celebrate those things, my brother. That's insubordination. That's mutiny. You can't then blame the coach if you have players telling other players, let's not listen to this guy. And then the results are shit on the pitch. Trust me, bro. Trust me. Yeah. Let's hope that you guys get a good coach. For me, if I were you guys, I'd look for a German coach. I'll be honest. I'd look for a German coach because you guys lack structure and discipline on the pitch. Maybe if you guys get a German coach, the world will change for you guys. I know some of you guys don't like, the foreign based and all these things, but trust me, when Trinidad got a Dutch coach, it was the best thing happened to Trinidad football. And if you look at the way Dwight Yorke is playing, he's playing total football. So trust me, you know what I mean? Talk to your buddies, maybe tell Big Brother on Elite Sports TV, promote for a German coach. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of them, that are available right now. Edin Terzic, I think, is available. Why not get him? He's a young guy, very creative, very interesting. Jamaica needs to, expand. And when I say that, Trinidad and Tobago team wasn't largely successful under Dwight Yorke just because he's a winner, just because he played for Manchester, just because he took Trinidad to the World Cup when he was a captain. Nah, they took it because when the coach tells them X, they're not listening to their best friend or their neighbors or anyone else talking about the coach is crazy. You know what I mean? And I think that was the major problem with Jamaica in this qualifying. And I'm sorry to say that, bro. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I just think a lot of people had too many negative opinions on the manager and it trickled into the team and the team started believing the same thing. And that's what it looked like to me. Yeah, York is on the contract until June 2026. But what I'm saying to you, Nick, is that contracts can be paid off. And yeah, TNT not qualifying doesn't mean York is not a very good coach. Because if you tell me, Nick, you've watched us in the Unity Cup, you've watched us last year, the year before, but you've watched us this year under Dwight Yorke. Tell me, some of the best football we're playing since 2006, 2004, 2005, that 3-year period when we went to the World Cup. This football that we're playing right now as a team is reminiscent of that level. Before it wasn't. You know what I mean? It was scrappy to watch. It was not at all enjoyable. Cut, bro. I know, bro. UJT, Ball Pre, lots of you guys want Dwight Yorke. I know. Need chemistry too, and King is an attitude man. 100%. 100%. 100%. You know what I mean? So, guys, all in all, I think it was a decent campaign for the Soca Warriors. And when I say that, I think, we lost one game, we've won two, we drew 3 out of 6. It's not bad. It's one of the best qualifying campaigns we've had in a decade. You know, under Angasif, we lost 3-4 games. Under Stephen Hart, we lost 3-4 games consistently. This is our best qualifying campaign, I guess, since 2000 and the 2010 campaign. Because in the 2010 campaign, we didn't qualify. We were short a point. We missed out by a point, I believe. And since then, it's been worse. So I say to you guys now, the TTFA might not have started hot, sweaty, and amazing, but maybe they're going to build to that, just like the team that we're building right now. And of course, we have 5 years till 2030. We need to build now. You know what I mean? Bro, big up to Omar in the building. Steve Rubbish. Bro, there's no Jamaica will hire York. That will be football suicide. York inherited an improving team from Angus Eve. And I would say to you, that's a little bit of a stretch there. But maybe. But I definitely think that their interest is in Dwight York, my bro. And that's why I'm saying that. Yeah, start from now, next year, don't wait, TTFA, 100%, because if you fail to prepare for failure, guys. It's 100%. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? You can be as gifted and as talented as Messi, as Ronaldo, as the greats. Without hard work, effort, and sacrifice, nothing becomes of this thing. You know, and of course, you got to have a good mentality. And I say this, and I wanted to send this message. I don't know anyone who might know Dante Seeley, but if anyone can talk to Dante Seeley, mentality. His mentality is keeping him back from being a better player from being the best player he can be, I should say, in my honest opinion. And I think if he changes a little bit, he will improve greatly. Yeah, Dante Seeley, I've seen your performances, my brother. I think you have a lot of potential. I think you have a lot of talent. I know you need to work hard, bro. You need to stop letting people get under your skin, buddy. Because this is what Dick Advocat did to you in 2 games back to back, and he consolidated it by doing it the second time. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't notice it, but they focused on getting him out of the game because he's a bit of an X factor. When he gets going, he's very dangerous. But if you get in his head, it's all over. Eve also coached the team for a lot longer than Dwight York, bro. You know what I mean? And yeah, he did win some more games, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is with Eve. I think Eve caused himself to get sacked from Trinidad football, bro. I think Eve, rather than looking for stability, he kept trying things. And while it is interesting to try things, at some point you have to have a solid foundation to build upon. And Eve never gave himself that chance. You know, he changed things too much. There was too many rotations to the team, the formation, and it was not working. And to be fair, bro, the football looked shit on the Angus Eve. We looked like schoolboys playing football. They would jumble up in the center of the park in moments. They didn't maintain their shape at all. And this is where I think the drastic difference was with Angus Eve and Dwight York. And again, I would say Angus Eve was, for me, better than Stephen Hart. But again, under those 2 coaches, we did not see that maintained structure, shape, you know, that willingness to get back and defend in numbers, that intricate playing and a strong midfield. We didn't see those things under Angus Eve and Stephen Hart. So, in my honest opinion, I would say that. I mean, bro, I'm not saying McLaren is a great coach. Don't get me wrong. But you can't just blame him. Yeah, you can't just blame him. You have to blame the players on the pitch. They are the ones on the pitch doing the job. And I would say this to you. If they are so good, how could they not rise above it while they were on the pitch and they could affect the change? You see, another coach can set them up for victory. True. But if they're having a tough game, will they not have the same shit performance? even though a coach has set them up differently. I mean, sometimes you have to look at the performance, the consistent performance of your team, and watch your players and what they're doing on the pitch, and then say to yourselves, this is World Cup qualifying. They are representing Jamaica. Yeah. Even if the coach ain't great, and they're not going to take matters into their own hands to make sure and get the result for home, bro. Trinidad is one thing, and when I say that, we lack a little bit of firepower. We have very good players on all positions. The striking part is where we're weakest. We do have Levi, and Levi is amazing, but I think he's a better winger. So imagine, I would say to you guys, if we had a Bailey Cadamartri, yeah, bro, we would have slapped Jamaica. We probably would have slapped Curacao too. And I think that was one of the biggest differences. We needed a solid striker, and I think Bailey Cadamartri is a decent striker. Boza is cool, but I would not, if it was me, he would not even be selected for Jamaica, guys. I just being honest. What about Burrell? You guys are spoiled for choice right now. That's why you guys can't make a choice, bro. I'm telling you. Yeah, let's hope for that because we'll be supporting you guys. I will be doing watch-alongs for your your qualification matches in the playoffs. I'm still hoping that there's some sort of miracle where Curacao may have done something. They didn't cross a X or dot a I or cross a T properly and fielded a player who probably was captied to the Netherlands because we know all the players from Curacao are Dutch born and they couldn't make the Netherlands team, so they went to Curacao. So we hoping for something still in the background, guys. Maybe. You never know. Fingers crossed. But yeah, this is the next thing. I think that, Jamaicans a little bit, they went mad last night. You're still qualified. You're going to the playoffs. I think you have a more realistic chance of the playoffs as well. I think you'll win 2 or 3 of those games comfortably. If you'll get 6 points, I think that's more than enough to get you all through. And to be honest, bro, I think Jamaicans need to get behind the team, not just get behind the players, get behind your manager, get behind everything. The team includes everyone, not just your players. The team was not up to full fitness because of the number of local players Eve had, and the team was going through a tough time. Your team was much fitter because most of them were foreigners. Possibly, not really, but I mean, I think the difference was that York had opened up the opened up more to selection than Eve. In my honest opinion, I think York was in charge of his selection of players. I think Eve was being dictated to by the former squad selector, who, thank God, he's out of Trinidad football, Alfred Anton Cornel. And I think for years, these guys like Cornel and these guys, they left their mark by the way they selected players for Trinidad and Tobago. There's lots of talent who should have been selected that wasn't. But these guys have their favorites and stuff like that. But York doesn't. He does his stuff based on numbers, stats. There's no favoritism there. There's only who's performing and who's not. You know what I mean? Shout out to Omar Henry in the building. Bro, please forward this message to the people of TT. Your team deserves to go to the World Cup. TT play way better football than any other team in this group. Full stop. Bro, thank you from the bottom of my heart, bro, because I totally agree with you and believe in that as well. But sometimes you need a little bit of luck, bro. And we didn't have any. And that was sad, to be fair. But hopefully it's going to change. Hopefully, we are going to be more focused. And most importantly, we're going to work towards 2030 from right now. You know what I mean? We said goodbye to Kevin Molino as a national player today. And for me, disappointing because I would have loved to see that brother go to the World Cup. I think there are a few players for Trinidad national team that deserve that sort of opportunity. And for me, Kevin was one of those guys. But it wasn't to be, and I'm sad for him. I'm sad for Trinidad. I'm sad for myself because I wanted to go to the World Cup and watch these brothers play. You know what I mean? More than anything else. But our next tournament, I believe it's Olympic qualifications under 2023, under 23. So let's see how it goes. A lot of the guys, Wayne Frederick, Nathaniel James, the likes of Roy Mitchell, and all these guys will be able to qualify. I believe even Darren Payne will qualify to play. So there's a lot of talent. Even Kobe Henry, I think, will qualify to play. So let's see how Trinidad does. Let's see if what Trinidad does for the World Cup, the Olympic campaign. I mean, there's still some hope that maybe a team might get disqualified for some poor action and Trinidad gets promoted, but that's just hopeful for me, guys. I'm gonna hope for that for the next 2 weeks. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? Football is about results, 100% hook. You know what I mean? So yeah. And guys, don't forget, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow and it really helps push the stream around to other Trinis, other Caribbean folk that might be interested in football. And of course, joining the community and talking about football. And please help your brother out. Smash that like if you can. You know what I mean? If I can get myself to 25, 30 likes on a stream, it gets around to at least 300 people, that's for sure. Every like pushes to 10 people. So please, guys, help your brother out. And you know what? Thank you for joining me. It's been an interesting conversation with you guys. I hope to have way more with you over the coming days because we're going to be talking about Jamaica, Trinidad, and more football. And of course, tomorrow I will be I was supposed to bring to you guys the Caribbean Big Seven stream with a few of my friends from Jamaica and so talking about the World Cup qualifications. I don't know if I'll be able to do it because some of the guys have a busy schedule and I don't have my laptop with me, but I'll still try my very best. And I'll drop a post notification for you guys later on to let you know what time and if it's going to be on. But most likely you will hear me. Yeah, a team could get disqualified. I'm not saying that anyone is going to, but if there's, the checks and balances and a player is, let's just say he was part of a victory and he's not eligible to play, they could, automatically forfeit that game. Of course, losing 3 points means they fall to lower points than Trinidad and Tobago. And yeah, one of those things. So we'll see how it goes. Of course, it's just a hope, bro. You know what I mean, Pero? It's just a hope. Bro, I think they will. You know what I mean? At least we do need Jamaica to qualify because if they go through that, that also puts CONCACAF in a very good light. So if Jamaica and Suriname go out there and they beat 2 or 3 teams each, and let's just say Jamaica qualify, maybe Curacao comes third, then we won't have our World Cup spot taken away from us because the playoffs also count as points towards keeping that extra World Cup spot. So I just saw it on Google there at the same time. I find that FIFA should institute a policy where at least 4 local players from your country plays for your international team. It's unfair having a team made up of foreigners against you. Ah, bro. Yeah, I wish that too. You know what I mean? There should be some semblance of some representation from local. But I mean, Curacao, like a few other the Dutch Caribbean islands, they are part of the Dutch. They are Dutch states, bro. So it's a very, very complicated issue, that one. You know what I mean? And to be fair, yeah, it's gonna have that gray area there where they're gonna tell you, well, they're a Dutch state, but they're also an island state. It's mad. You know what I mean? My only disappointment is that when you look at some of the VAR calls in this qualification process where the American-led VAR was involved, yeah, it only came in support of Curacao. And I'm sorry to say that, but if you look at all the games, every time the VAR called the referee to the screen, it was for Curacao. You know what I mean? When Curacao scissor kicked a guy, he didn't get taken off. When Curacao player clotheslined a guy, he didn't get a red card. When the Curacao player who scored against Trinidad, was the last man, made a last-ditch tackle against a Trinidad attacker, he was given a yellow card and not a red. And if you know the rules of football, if you're the last man, it's a straight red card when you stop a goal scoring opportunity. So it's one of those things where yeah, there's some gray areas there, and in my honest opinion, that is one reason why Curacao shouldn't even qualify. Because the game against Trinidad and Tobago in Trinidad, they should have had a player get sent off, and not only that, if he was sent off, they would not have scored the equalizer. Funny, yeah, it's just funny, guys. What's up, bro? Shout out to you, Mark, the shark in the building. Of course, bro. Yo, I'm just happy that I could do it, bro, to be honest, because, yeah, I love to see Trinidad play. I want to see Trinidad go to the World Cup more. And of course, I want to see us improve. The Trinidad game was 2-1, my bro. Of course, I Googled it. I double checked. I triple checked. I don't know why the post-match press conference says it's a 2-2 draw. According to Google, according to FootMob, according to Opta, and according to the other stats, Trinidad has won 2-1. The official score is 2-1. So I don't know why CONCACAF is trying to say 2-2, but we have 9 points. And for us to have 9 points means that we got 3 points from the game, to be honest. So yeah, it's one of those things, guys. It's one of those things. You know what I mean? It's not complicated. It's fair. Wasn't a penalty given against Curacao last night? No, it wasn't. It was removed. The penalty was called off by the same American VAR. And yeah, I mean, I didn't read your message that well, bro. It's not that complicated. It's fair. Why wasn't the penalty given against Curacao? I don't think so, bro. Because in my honest opinion, I think it was a foul, to be honest. You know what I mean? It's 2-1, bro. I can share the screenshot. If you go to my posts, I did posts about it on all the sites up to now. It's 2-1. You know what I mean? They can't confirm even if the goal was disallowed for offside. The linesman had his flag up when Bermuda scored their second goal, and they never put the ball in the back of the net another time. So I don't know how could it be confirmed as 2-2. Then how is Trinidad on 9 points, bro? You know what I mean, Pero? Go check the group rankings. Trinidad has 9 points, and the only way we can have 9 points is if we won that game. Now we can get a proper coach and a better team selection. Bailey back, and I hear that Mason said he didn't come because of McLaren. The Jamaica president said that last night. Whoa. Well, looks like you guys are guaranteed to qualify, because when that brother comes, it's over. It's over because that brother is a goal machine. Yeah, I don't know about that one, bro, because online saying Trinidad won the game and they said that the goal was called off for offside. It can't be an error if it offside, bro. Let's be real. The man standing in that offside position. The ball never crossed the line until he touched it. So it's weird. You know what I mean? I saw it as a foul. They reported the spot and there was a clear foul in the box. Exactly. The American VAR said it was a coming together. It could never be, bro. That could never be a coming together, bro. And to give a drop ball, even more so confirmed. This was a mad decision. You know what I mean? Mad decision. I don't know what is going on with the local papers, but the only error is that the linesman put his flag up. And as long as the linesman put his flag up and that's on camera, bro, it's not a goal. It's offside. And we didn't kick off from the center circle after that. You guys remember, we didn't kick off from the center circle after that goal. We played the ball out from the back. Normal. Yeah? So, trust me. Unless, for it to be a goal, you'd have to kick off from the center circle. You know? So, guys, I'll be back tomorrow with more news, more information, more Trini talks. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. It's been a pleasure. Of course, my days is on the wind down. It's 3 p.m. where I'm in Greece right now. In Rhodos, to be fair, you know, that's a little bit of the views, a little bit gray out there. But yeah, you know what I mean. Hope you guys have a great one. And we'll be talk about it more tomorrow, more later on or tomorrow, guys, because to be fair, there's a lot to discuss in terms of where we can go, how we can improve, what can be done. and what everyone can do, because contributions for a small island like us from one person makes a big impact. Big up to you guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Hope I'll see you guys again tomorrow. It's been your boy Marken, Trini Boy Extraordinaire, in the building.